great question from Lucy. Lucy, I'm not sure if you wanted to ask this before we go to the results of the polls.
So I think this is around obviously setting out clearly what the expectations are.
I think we've all experienced this. I'm not sure if you wanted to ask the question.
And I'm just hoping that the doorbell doesn't ring any minute with my kids coming home from school.
So Liz, did you want to ask the question in case everyone's not seen it in the chat?
Yeah, it was just we've obviously experienced quite a few working from home, and over the last year we've had a lot of, whilst you're on the phone or whilst they're working, a lot of things pop up, such as, hang on, I need to go, my Amazon driver's just turned up, just putting my online shop away, or the internet's down because my son's gaming. And whilst we were you know, flexible and tolerant on all those things because of what was going on, if an employee became work from home sort of more formally, would we be in a stronger position to not tolerate them? So
yeah, certainly. And this is what, when I was talking earlier about putting a policy in place, Lucy, that's something that I would really recommend you look at, because essentially you can set out there around what the expectations are in terms of giving you full time and attention to work, because essentially it should just be like you sat at your desk in the office, you know. And you know, I get up, I clock in at 9, and well, I don't leave at 5, but Debbie and Chris and all that. You know, essentially when you should be in work, you should be in work, with the exception of the normal breaks that you would have if you're working in the office. And it comes down, doesn't it, to giving you full time and attention to the work that you've got. And obviously all of those distractions are going to have an impact on your output at the end of the day. And so for me, that policy is really clear. It has to be really clear in terms of what the expectations are and what the consequences are if you know, any of those elements are having a detrimental impact on your performance. And this is when it comes down to sort of the difficulties for the managers, really, in terms of monitoring that and seeing what the actual effects are on a day-to-day basis. But absolutely, if you're finding that somebody is being regularly you know, disrupted and they're not giving their full time and attention, you would deal with it as you would if they were working from the office.
I mean, just to add to that, a couple of points. First of all, that's the beauty of things like trial periods. So the first thing I would be doing is saying, well, yeah, we know that while it's been thrust upon you that this has happened, but it's not been the ideal. We want to see if it can work as it should work. And so these are our expectations. This is the trial period, and let's see how we get along. And if at the end of that trial period they are getting interrupted, then you've got a clear reason for rejection, because it's having a detrimental impact on ability to meet customer needs, on performance, on quality of work. The other thing, of course, just to keep in mind is that I've been a home worker for many years, and I have had people turn up at the door, and not necessarily through any fault of my own. It doesn't matter if you book a delivery for certain times. Sometimes they'll come at a different time, or someone will rock up, and so it's just with any disciplinaries, it's about making sure, you know, is it something that they had control over? But as long as you've got those expectations set out there, and then you act reasonably in any disciplinary action that follows, then absolutely, this is the start of a formal working arrangement, as opposed to us all just doing what we can, which has essentially been the last 14 months of our lives.
And I think you've just got to find that right balance, haven't you? Because actually, you know, this is a way of retaining and attracting staff that you might not have been able to attract previously. So there's got to be that fine balance, hasn't there, in terms of providing people with that flexibility, with that work-life balance, but still making sure that they're effective in terms of the work that they're carrying out for you. Hopefully that's answered your question, Lucy.
It has, thank you, that's great.